Hello friends, and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. This is the seventh video of an Excel tutorial series, and here we will learn how to create a report in Excel. If you don't know how to generate sequential values, such as those that you see here, like this over here, then you can revisit or watch the fourth video in this Excel tutorial series. Otherwise, we can proceed. So here we will be learning how to create a report in Excel, and there are many ways to do this, of course, but I will just walk you through some of the possibilities, the capabilities of Excel, or options that are available to you that you can use to build or create that report. Okay, so the first is, let's say you are trying to build a tabular report, meaning a report in table form like this one, consisting of certain columns and rows of data. Okay, if you are not familiar with some of the things, the formattings that were done here, then you can watch the earlier videos of this tutorial series in Excel. Okay, so like setting the bold, giving the background color and all that, selecting the font, defining the font size, then you can walk through or watch the earlier videos of the series. First here is, if you will notice, there are three. This is a tabular data, a data in table form consisting of columns and rows. And intentionally, I left some of the values here blank so that you can see one capability of Excel, which is very important. And that is using the random function. When do we need to use this random function? There will be instances wherein we wanted to build a prototype report to be submitted, to be presented to a manager, to our boss. And for that reason, we may not have the actual data at the point that we need it, but we just have an idea and we wanted to show him the layout of a report that we have in mind. In that case, we can make up some values which are only for illustration purposes. In that case, you will use a function which is for generating random values in Excel. So if I point at this cell called C3, you will see in the formula bar the formula being used, which is equals rand, which is short for random, and then open close parentheses. So that is the function that was used to generate this value over here. It's a random value. Now, like I said, I intentionally left the others blank so that you can see the other magic or the other cool thing about Excel, which I have discussed in earlier videos in this tutorial series, which is, as I said, video number 4, generating sequential values. In this case, although it's not sequential per se, but you will see that this will also help you to minimize your work. Okay, let's just say you use the random function over here in this field over here, and then you wanted to generate similarly random values in the other cells. Then you can just, firstly, you will put your focus on that cell which has this function, and you wanted the randomized values to also be applied to the other cells over here. You point at the lower right hand corner of that cell. You will see a black cross like this, and then you can drag it down like this. That's one way. And you can see that all of them contain the formula equals rand, open close parentheses. Another way of doing that is much simpler, which is when you point at the lower right-hand corner of this cell, which has a formula in it, and then you wanted to copy that formula to the rest of the cells in the same column, you will just double click and it does the same thing. Okay, so with this, you are able to generate some dummy values, which you can use for illustration purposes. Let's just say you were trying to build a prototype report, which has to be presented to your boss. So this is it. Now, this is not the end of the story. So here we have generated a random decimal number. Okay, so to generate a random decimal number, meaning a number which is less than 1 but greater than 0 or equal to 0, then you use this function over here, equals rand, equals is for formula, and then the function is rand, open close parentheses. Okay, so that is to generate a random decimal number. Next is, if you look at column F, I have prepared some space over here. I have widened the column, and at the very top, I put this label bar chart. So here is another way of adding color or bells and whistles to your report in Excel. So how, in this case, we wanted to add a bar chart which will supplement this tabular data over here. Okay, so which will naturally give more, eye candy oomph to your report. So what you will do is to highlight the tabular data, which is consisting of the column headers as well as the values. Okay, so you highlight the column headers and the values. Next is you go to the insert menu, or I think it's called tab in Excel. And then after that, you will choose the kind of chart or graph that you wanted to put or wanted to display in this sheet. So in this case, I wanted to use a bar chart. I will click on this. And you also, it's up to you if you wanted to use a 2-dimensional one or a 3D bar chart. So, okay, so there you go. And then you can just drag it, click your mouse anywhere, and then drag and drop the chart wherever you want it to, you want to place it. And then if you want to resize it, typically, if you're familiar with Windows applications, it's the same thing. It's the same thing exactly. If you wanted to expand this like that. So you have a bar chart, which is representative and supplementing the tabular value beside it. Okay, so this is very good because some people want to look at the numerical values, which is nice. And some people also are too busy and they want to have a quick glance at the report in a visual manner like this. So you have it both ways, tabular data, and you also have a chart. As you can see, generating a chart or a graph in Excel is quite easy at the basic level. Okay, so here we have the, whatever values you have here are represented here, only because we have highlighted them before creating the chart. Okay. Next is generating a random whole number. Remember that in the first example, we generated random decimal numbers, meaning values with the decimal value in them, not a whole number. Okay. Here we will randomly generate whole numbers. So the formula for that is like this. If I point at this cell over here, you will see the formula in the formula bar. It is rand between, and then parentheses, the lower value and the higher value, meaning the min and the max. So it's like we're telling Excel, generate a random value for me, a whole number, between the values of 0 and 50. Any value between these two. Okay, so that's the formula. Again, we will do the same thing. On purpose, I left the other fields blank, I mean the other cells. So you will see again the shortcut of copying this formula to the other cells. So again, there are two ways we can do that. Once the focus is on that cell that has your desired formula, you can point at the lower right hand, you see a black cross, and then you can drag it down or also to the right, up to you. And the other way, I will do a Control Z to undo that. The other way again is to point at the lower right hand. Once you see this black cross, you double click. So you can see that random whole number values have been generated for the rest of the cells, although they have the same exact formula in them. Ran between 0 50, ran between 0 50. They are the same. They have the same formula in them, but because of the random function of Excel, it generated for them a random value. Okay, so again, we are trying to, in this video, I'm showing you how you can create a report in Excel. There are many ways to create a report, but these are the usual ones: showing tabular data, showing a chart. Of course, formatting is there, and I already talked about formatting and other stuff in the earlier videos of this tutorial series. So here we have already randomly generated whole numbers using this function over here, ran between. Again, the values inside the parentheses are referring to the minimum and the maximum value in the range of values that you want Excel to generate. Values meaning just whole numbers, and they are all really, if you will check, they're all within that range. And then beside it, I'll be showing you how to create a pie chart. Remember that in the first example, we used a bar chart. We created a bar chart which supplements the tabular data beside it. Here we will be creating a pie chart. So exactly the same steps that were taken in creating this thing. Okay, so again, you will highlight the data set. That means the column headings as well as the values. And then you go to insert. And then since it's pie chart, you click on the pie here. And if you want a 3D pie, it's up to you. And then once you're here, you can drag, drop that chart to where you want to put it. Okay. Of course, you can find, do the refinements needed for the chart, like changing the label, the title, the legend, those stuff. But this is really the essence, is what I am sharing with you now. So as you can see, it doesn't take much effort and time to generate an Excel report, having the best of both worlds. It is showing the tabular data in some nice formatting, as well as having a chart beside it. Okay, and of course you have learned how to generate a random decimal number using this function, and you've also learned how to generate a random whole number, which is within some range of values. Okay, so I hope something new has been learned in this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe, because there will be a lot of content that's coming up on the pipeline. And as you know, this channel is covering quite a range of topics. It is from the database realm, which is SQL and the related stuff, and you also have Windows tips and tricks, and you also have, of course, for now, you have this ongoing Excel tutorial series, which is still under the umbrella of Windows. Okay, so click that subscribe button and see you in the next video.